All right, we're working on a friend's 68 Coronet trunk and hood. We got the car body about done. It's all at his house. We're going to bring it over here and jam it out. Not too long and get that done. Haven't really touched the Ford. Kind of waiting on the customer to decide what to do there. So I'm hoping to get this finished up on some prep work on the hood and get it in one more coat of heavy epoxy by the end of today. But while working on that, we have a service truck here that caught a fence post right here and dented that in really bad and has a band-aid on it for the repair. So I think we're gonna take Mr. Band-Aid off, and while I'm waiting on filler to dry and give me something to do between working on that, I'm going to see if I can pull this dent without touching the logos and keep that looking the way it is. And I'm just going to see if I can get that to pull and lift, and maybe I'll just mask this off and put a little filler on it if I need to, and just literally rattle can it white, just so it's not as bad. We can get it scheduled in to get repaired properly. All right, I took the angle grinder, ground off all the bare metal. When you get into some of these lower pits, I take a little screwdriver and pick and just scrape at it until all the paint is missing. I'm not going to clean a large area because I'm not trying to get too aggressive. And then I will take like these little brads. We're going to weld these brads on with the gun. And actually, that's my new gun. My other one burned up. But we're going to weld like one here, put another one about here, put another one here, put another one here, and we'll start pulling. I don't have one of those that you can pull 2 or 3 at a time. I'll also put one down here in this angle and one here about here. And I'll just start pulling. You got to take see where this is like crinked and that's high. I'll take a hammer and tap on this while I pull on these. So let me grab this set up and I'll show you how these will weld in. All right, so these are the little brads. And you see they have that bigger head. We just stick them inside the tip of the gun. Yeah! And then we take Mr. Gun and we need to get the head adjusted. So you see if you once the tip is holding the ground, the outside has to hit. Then you pull the trigger, and there's that. So I'll do that again. Oh, man. All right. Put one right there. Same thing. That was too much. See how I melted in and kind of sunk the metal, burned the metal. So now I have a hole there. So that's just going to pull right off when I hit that. So I'll have to put some on the other side. But basically, we take that and we take our dent puller and put it in the center, lock that on, and then we pull it. That moved a ton. See how that pulled out? Now I'm going to give it a little pop in to release the puller. We're going to hit this other one. I'm pretty sure one tack on this is just going to yank the metal clean out because that is overburned. Yep. Now I have a hole, so I'll have to tack weld that back up before I put any filler on it. So I'll put another tack there, another tack there, and then I'll pull on this a little bit more. So we put more tacks here. It did pull that one out. That's pulled in. And that's looking a lot better. Alright, so I have a couple holes here, here, and here. And this metal is so thin that I honestly think my welder setup right now is a thicker wire. I'm just going to blow it out and make it even worse. So I have this product here. It's metal powdered filler, and I've used it before, and the stuff is like rock hard. It's almost like JB Weld. And I'm going to mix it like a putty, pack it in all this, grind it down, and then fill it. And I mean, heck, it's just this service truck, and we are only going to be putting a rattle can white over the top, so got a little noise going on in the background, so I'm going to turn this off and I'll show you that. So that's that epoxy metal filler crap, and I've got way too much on, so you can see it's high. I'm just going to let that harden, and then I will take the grinder and bevel it off. You can see I've just got pretty heavy lip there, but now with that there you go, let that harden, grind it down. Alright, so this stuff is rock hard now, so we'll take our angle grinder and we'll just buff that down and give me a rough finish. So that's sanded. It's fairly smooth that way. I just put another piece of tape on the inside here. And now I'm going to take a little just standard Bondo body filler. It's not actual Bondo, but I'll put some body filler here. If you look this way, the gap of the door isn't bad, but it's really from about here to down into here. You can see that gap starts to go, you know, you would have to pull this whole piece out, and I'm trying to not affect the letter right now, trying to not pull this. It's a service truck. I'm just trying to make it look better than it did. So that's the theme of the project. We'll put a little filler on here, one or two more sandings on it, and blend that out. Throw a little bit of white paint on it. It'll look fine. Maybe. Let's go mix some filler. So that's with filler sanded. Like I said, if you look down here, the H, it's where that's really low. So that's pushing that in a ways. And so I have a little lip of filler right here that I honestly think I'm going to keep. And I'm just going to mask that off and spray it, because when you look this direction, you see the gap right there. When I'm going to blow it off, I'm going to throw a little bit of sandable primer on it and dust it with some white paint, and we'll see how it looks from the distance back. High-end body paint. And you can see there's little tiny pits and holes in the filler, because it's just one coat of filler on top of that epoxy. I'm going to let that drip and run. And I'll Scotch-Brite that down, then I'll mask that again, then I'll double mask that line off. And then white. 2 coats of primer. I'll take a Scotch-Brite pad after it dries. I'll probably take the heat gun, and I already have the heat gun kind of out, so we'll just keep waving the heat gun on it. Maybe hit it one more time, then I'll Scotch-Brite it. Okay, so 2 coats of primer. Now I'm going to show a couple little paint tricks to try to show the blend and fade. So I took some sandpaper and just kind of sanded out that paint edge where the primer met the paint. And if you look, you see the body line up here. That's the body line of the car. And that's a real subtle line. So I'll show you how to do a mask so that line, I don't want to put a paint type here, then you end up with a hard tape line. I'm going to do a hard tape line down underneath to the vinyl line, and then I'm just going to let it overspray back inside here because I don't care, and then I'll do a hard paint line here. Basically what I'm going to do, let's see if I can do this while I'm holding tape, is I'm going to, you see this is the line, I'm actually going to put the tape center of the line, and I'm going to redo this when I have two hands, but I'm just going to try to do it with one hand. And you take your tape and you fold it backwards like this, and you lift it up and you put another piece of tape on top, and so that rolled tape right there, then when you spray paint here, the mist will go up and it kind of drifts up under that edge, and you won't get a hard tape edge. I'll use two hands and I'll show you how it looks properly. So there we go. So we have a hard mask tape line on this side. I have a hard mask line up here, but then I have this piece of tape folded out so that as I just paint this, I'm just going to let it drift dust, paint up this way, and that's just going to kind of catch the overspray. Now, if we were, really masking, we would have paper from here up and masking this and masking that, and we'd have masking inside the door jamb. But I started this 2 hours ago, so this was fix a dent in 2 hours. So now, let me grab our high-end automotive paint. Rattle, rattle. White industrial tractor paint. So we'll just very, very lightly, and we're going to stay back a little ways because I don't want a lot of runs. We're probably going to put 2 or 3 very light dusting coats on. And there's coat 1. Three more coats, and we'll call that good enough. So we have an obvious different color white. So when I close the door, the white to there, because the dark line, it was really obvious. The cab kind of blends it out. So I threw a couple pieces of tape down here, threw a tape here, did kind of a same sort of thing that I do here. I did a little tape wall, and I just dusted some paint right on this edge. So now, I'll be able to peel this back, peel this off, and when I take that off, you can kind of see the paint line up here. Oop. And you can kind of see the white from here up. Well, once she's dirty driving, you won't see a thing. Let me get it demasked, and I'll demask the H and show how it looks. There we go. 3 hours, little mess, dent puller, couple tools, 2 rattle cans, and there we are. One service truck, not so ugly. The dent's obviously still there. The rattle can white is an obvious different color, but by backmasking it and blending it and just overspraying it on, and now the gap in the door, that's not a bad gap. You get down to where the sticker is. I didn't want to pull that sticker off. So if I would have pulled the decal and the sticker, I can pull it a lot further and do more. If I ever want to make it better, I'll make it better. But it's a service truck. It's a work truck. It gets beat up. So I think that'll be absolutely fine for a long time. I can put some real primer and real paint and real products on it later, but for a 3-hour repair, I'm happy with it. That's a quickie dent repair rattle can fix. Costed me nothing but a little bit of time. Peace out.